Hi guys, and welcome to Salim's Kitchen. In today's video, I will teach you how to make the best and tastiest samosas to start your own samosa business. It can be a side hustle or a full-time business. This is a detailed tutorial to get you started. Let us start with the filling or stuffing first. Remember, you can always double the ingredients for bigger quantities, and it's always best to do all your preparation first. We are going to start by finely dicing 15 medium onions. Remember to always use a nice sharp knife. The whole idea in making samosas to sell is that you want a good amount of samosas from one batch of filling, and onions does this for you. Mutton mince meat is very expensive, so the ratio for one batch of filling will be 15 medium onions to 1 kg of mince meat. And remember, onions enhances the taste of your filling and also increases the quantity, giving you more samosas, and more samosas equals more profit. Up next, finely chop 100 mint leaves or half a bunch. Ten green chilies finely sliced. One bunch of spring onion finely sliced. And lastly, one big bunch of coriander finely chopped. Now that our preparation work is completed, let's cook the filling. Now use a medium-sized pot that's deep like this here, and add in 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Now you will heat this on high heat. Once your oil is hot, add in 1 kg of mutton mince meat. To this, add in 1 tablespoon of ginger and garlic paste and 2 teaspoons of salt. Now mix this well. Now, as your mince starts cooking like this here, use a nice flat spoon like this here and use the back of your spoon to smash the mince down, breaking it into smaller pieces. Now, the mince meat will take 10 minutes to cook or until all the liquid that's released from the mince dries out. So you will mix it like this and continue to smash it down like this with the back of your spoon, breaking it down into smaller pieces after every 2 minutes. And remember to keep your pot open, not to cover it. After 2 minutes, after 4 minutes, after 6 minutes, after 8 minutes, and after 10 minutes, the mince is now perfectly cooked and broken down into nice fine pieces, and all the liquid have dried out, and we are left with the little vegetable oil that we put in and the melted fat from the mince meat. So cook it longer if you have to until all the liquid dries out. Now add in 2 tablespoons of mixed masala. Now mixed masala is a mixture of ground spices. I will leave the recipe for this masala mix in the description box below. Now give this a good mix. Now once you have mixed it well, add in the green chilies. Now give this a good mix and allow it to cook for 1 minute so that the heat and the flavor from the chilies will be released. After 1 minute, mix it one more time. Now add in the onions. Give this a good mix. Now allow the onions to cook for 8 to 10 minutes or until the onions gets nice and soft, and give it a good mix after every 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, after 4 minutes, after 6 minutes, after 8 minutes, and after 10 minutes. The onions are now cooked. It's nice and soft. Now we are going to add in the greens. the mint leaves, the spring onions, and the coriander. Now switch off your stove. There's a lot of heat in the pot that will cook the greens a bit, releasing its flavor at the same time giving your filling a lovely, beautiful color. Now give this a good mix. Now, once you have mixed it well, allow it to simmer for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes of simmering, give it one last mix. So there you have it, guys. Our beautiful onions and mince meat filling is now ready. Now there's one more step, one last step we have to do. A lot of liquid was released from the onions, so we have to drain out the liquid. Now let me show you how to drain out all the liquid. Now use a bowl or a container that's bigger than your strainer to collect all the liquid. Place your strainer on top and now add in your filling. Now cover and let it drain. It should take around 5 to 6 minutes to fully drain out all the liquid. Now you can see this is the liquid that drained out. So allow it to drain long enough until all the liquid drains out like this. Now the filling is 100% ready. It's not dry and it's not wet. It is nice and moist. Now allow it to cool down before filling. And now let's make the samosa pastry strips. Before we start making the samosa pastry strips, cut out the following cardboard measurements. This measurement is to shape out the samosa pastry sheet once it's rolled out, and the width is 35 centimeters and the length is 29 centimeters. This measurement is to cut out the samosa pastry strips, and the length is 38 centimeters and the width is 7 centimeters. And the last measurement is to cut out 7 centimeters size pieces of the dough. For samosa pastry strips, you need to use all-purpose wheat flour. So in a large mixing bowl or container like this here, you will add in 8 cups like this, or 1 kg of all-purpose wheat flour. Four teaspoons of salt, mix the flour well with the salt. Now form a well like this. Now add in normal tap water, which is lukewarm water, little at a time to form a dough. The best way to form your dough is when you add in a little water like this here. Start mixing the flour and water like this, very gently without pressing. until all the water is absorbed by the flour. Make sure it's not sticky. So each portion you mix like this. When you add in a little water, you will mix it until it is not sticky. So once this portion is done, push it aside, and then again repeat the process. Add in little water, and then push the dry flour to the water and mix it very gently so the water is absorbed, and it must not be sticky. And then let this join the first batch. Again, a little bit more water, and continue doing this process until all the flour is absorbed in water. So once your flour and water mixing is done, it should look like this, lumpy like this here. And you can see that there's no dry flour. Now let's form our dough. So all you have to do now is use your fist it down, pick it up, and fist it down, pick up, and fist down, pick and fist, and continue doing this, and you will see how quick your dough will form. The amount of water I used was 700 milliliters of water to form this dough. So your ratio for the samosa pastry dough will be 1 kg of flour, all-purpose wheat flour, to 700 milliliters of water. Now we are going to rest this dough. Remember, resting the dough is very, very important. It makes the dough workable by allowing the gluten in flour to relax. So cover and rest your dough for a good 20 minutes. After 20 minutes of resting the dough, we are now going to knead this dough for a good 3 to 4 minutes. So use your fist and tear open the dough like this and bring it back together, and do it a few times. And our dough is now ready, and you can see it's a well textured dough. It's not too soft and it's not too hard. The perfect dough for samosa pastry strips. Now remember, if you do not make a well textured dough, everything will go wrong. So use the ratio I have given you, and if your dough comes out sticky, or you can always add in a bit of a dry flour. And if your dough is too dry, you can always add in a little water to get a well textured dough. Now cut your dough in half like this. Now roll out each half into long cylinders. The length of your cylinder must be 77 centimeters long. Now our first measurement comes into play. It's already marked at 7 centimeters. So this will make it very easy for you to cut off your pieces and just mark it like that. You can use the first cylinder as a guide to cut out your second cylinder. Once your pieces are cut out, now just roll it out slightly a bit like this here and pick it up and press it down to form a disc like this here. Once all your discs are formed on one end of the table, apply dry flour like this. And set your discs on top. The dry flour will prevent it from sticking to the table. Now we are going to roll out the discs into rotis, but first keep them covered like this with a cloth so that they don't dry out, and work with one disc at a time. For rolling, we will be using dry flour to prevent the disc from sticking to your table and rolling pin. So first, using your fingers, just press it out like this on both sides a little. Now add dry flour. You can add extra dry flour. And now you can start rolling. Get a rolling pin like this with swivel handles like this, as this makes rolling very, very easy. Now always roll in a circular motion, but also you don't have to have your rotis perfectly round. And there you have it. The first roti is rolled out. Now the size of your roti from the center, if you measure from one end to the other end, is 24 centimeters. So this is your guide to know how big your roti must be rolled out. Now on the other end of your table, apply dry flour. This is where we are going to set out all our rolled out rotis. And remember, our rotis have a lot of dry flour, so you don't have to apply a lot of dry flour onto your work table. Now set your roti on top like that, and let's roll out the next roti. As you roll out each roti, you will set it like this, overlapping each other. This way, the rolled out rotis will not take up all the space on the work table. After you have rolled out all the rotis, use vegetable oil to oil them in layers of 6. We'll do 3 stacks of 6 and 1 stack of 4 because we have 22 rotis. Now you can use a brush for this or your fingers like this. Oil them well so there are no dry spots. And the 6th roti you will not oil. Now once you have oiled your first stack and set it on dry flour on the table, we already have dry flour on the table, and keep it covered so that it does not dry out. The oiling is now completed, so this is the bigger space of the work table, so we are going to transfer all of these laid rotis onto the other end of the table. And keep them covered with a damp cloth so they stay nice and moist. Using your fingers, press it out slightly like this on both sides. This will help set the rotis. Now let's add dry flour and tap it like this. Turn it over. For rolling out the sheet, I am using a marble rolling pin, which is very heavy. And this makes rolling out the sheet very easy because of its weight. You let the rolling pin do the work for you. But if you have a normal rolling pin, that is fine. But when you're rolling, do not press very hard when rolling. So now let's try and roll it out into a rectangle. Remember, we have a sheet measurement, so we need to roll this out slightly bigger than the sheet. Always apply dry flour when you see the oil becomes visible, or else it will stick to the rolling pin. Now let's double check with our sheet measurement. And you can see now I need to roll it out slightly at the corners, so slightly more. And there you have it, guys. The sheet has been rolled out. bigger than your cardboard measurement. This way you will get unified samosas, all will be the same size. And just cut off all along your measurement. This will shape your sheet up, shape your sheet out perfectly. And there you have it, guys, the perfect samosa sheet. Now we will use our strip measurement and now cut off our strips. Remember, your strip measurement is longer than your sheet, so it makes it easy for you to cut it off. And there you have it, guys. Perfect and unified samosa pastry strips. All are 7 centimeters in width. This will give you a nice medium-sized samosas. Now let's toast it and let me show you how to toast them. For toasting, we are going to toast it in an oven. So your oven, you need to preheat your oven at 250 degrees Celsius for at least 5 minutes before toasting. Now transfer your strips onto your baking tray. You'll always lift one end like this and then fold it like that, and then pick it up and let it sit on your fingers like this here. Transfer it to your baking tray and then hold one end and then gently pull and unfold it. This way you will not disturb the samosa pastry strips by stretching it. Now remember, you need to set your baking tray. You have 2 elements here. You have the butter heating element and the grill element. So set your baking tray more towards or higher up towards the grill element. Now once you add it in, it must toast for 3 minutes or until you start to notice bubbles will start to appear on top. Then you can remove it, and I'll show you how to turn it over. After 3 minutes, you can see how the pastry started to rise. Now we are going to turn them over. Now we will toast it for another 20 seconds. And after 20 seconds, the pastry is now ready. So we need to keep them covered in a damp cloth. So you will roll out 1 layered roti, shape it up, cut out your strips, toast your strips, cover it in damp cloth or cover them in a damp cloth, and then move on to rolling out your next layered roti. Now that the samosa pastry strips are ready, you can separate them whilst you're filling. It will save you time. Or if you want, you can separate them now. Now let me explain how to store samosa pastry strips. Cling wrap them or put them in freezer bags in small quantities, 24 to 30 strips at a time. And freeze them for up to 6 months. When required, remove them from the freezer and allow them to fully thaw out, and put them in a microwave on normal settings for 2 to 3 minutes, and it will be as good as the day you made them. Now for the sticking paste, in a mixing bowl, add in 1 cup. This is the same flour we used to make the samosa pastry, all-purpose wheat flour. Now add in water as required to form a nice thick paste. Remember, the thicker the paste, the better it sticks. Now, before you start filling, taste your filling for salt and adjust accordingly. Now, let me show you how to fill your samosas. Now, this is what I meant when I said you can separate them whilst you are filling. It saves you time. Now, remember, you always have to form a pocket first. So let me come close to the camera so I can show you. There's your strip here. So keep it on your fingers and take this end here and bring it towards the center. Pull it more up until you get an overlap like this here. Now this overlap here I'll show you now the purpose of this overlap. So fold it over and line it up on your left hand side. So putting your thumb at the corner here, making sure the corner is closed, and then you lift and line it up like that. And that overlay there is for your thumb. You'll put your thumb on it so you can hold your pocket in place and you can open it. Use a teaspoon to add in your filling and use your thumb to push your filling in. Use your index finger to push your filling in so it sits in nice and tight. Now once your filling is in, you will always press it down here at the beginning. This is to make it easy for your next fold over. So you will fold it over and line it up on the right hand side. Again, fold it, line it up to the left hand side. Now before we come to the end here, I always add sticking paste so we can maintain the shape as we are folding. And then one fold over to line it up the right hand side, and more sticking paste to complete the folding. Make sure the corners are all closed. You can always adjust it. And there you have it, guys. Our first samosa is made. Now this filling and folding will come with practice. The samosas are all made. This recipe will give you 110 samosas, and we still have some filling that's left over, which can fill another 50 samosas. And you can see all the samosas are the same size. They look nice and unified, so it looks very presentable when you are going to sell it to your customers. Now let me explain and show you how to pack the samosas and explain to you how to store them. Pack them in freezer bags like this, 1 dozen at a time. Ziploc freezer bags. So you will set the samosas in. It sets in like a puzzle. And once you set it in the Ziploc bag, you can close it from one end. And when you come to the end, just press it slightly so you remove the air from inside the bag. And now you can close it. And there you have it, guys. This is how you pack your samosas. You can label them, and for storing, you can store them in the freezer for up to 6 months. If you're selling unfried samosas like this, you will sell them frozen. And if you are selling fried samosas, you will remove them from the freezer and fry it on medium heat. Now, things to remember when starting your own samosa business. Number one, shop around for the cheapest deals on your ingredients. Work out your costing and sell your samosas at a good profit. Advertise your product, tell family and friends. And most important, do not compromise on quality. Be consistent and maintain the quality of your product, as this is the key to success. Now I want to fry a few of these samosas to show you how beautiful they are. And there you have it, guys. You can see how beautiful it looks after it's fried. So I wish you all the best in starting your own samosa business. The recipe will be in the description box below. If you have any questions, send me a comment. Happy holidays to everyone. Until my next video, stay blessed and peace out.